Hey, so today we are doing a little bit of a apartment makeover, at least to the windows behind me. I have 4 floor-to-ceiling windows that are absolutely beautiful. They're west-facing. I get a ton of natural light in as the day goes on. I've always had 2 kind of just open with nothing blocking them, and then I had one that was kind of in the middle, and I had this cute little shelf I got from I think Goodwill a long time ago. I popped the back out. I kept the 2 cat beds underneath and I just put a bunch of plants on top with the humidifier, kind of called it a day. It looked good, I was happy with it, but I'm kind of done with it and I kind of want something a little bit different, something a little bit bigger, and I also want something that will allow me to showcase my plants in a little bit more of a interesting way. Not so much all clumped together, but a way for you to individually see each one and really get to take them in for what they are. Sounds a little nerdy, but I think it would be something really, really beautiful. With that being the case, I've been on the hunt for the past couple weeks, almost up to a month, I would say, of just looking at different bookshelves, entertainment systems, whatever I could think of that might work. And I really wasn't finding anything that I like. My main goal was I wanted something that would allow me to have multiple shelves, but also at different sizes. Maybe one that's longer, maybe one that is double cubbied, maybe a tall one, just something with variety. And I just couldn't find anything like that. My next plan of action was to find shelving that I felt like I could modify. And the first thing that popped in my head was IKEA, because I feel like a lot of their stuff is pretty easy to mess with, especially when it comes to bookshelves. So after doing some digging around, I decided on 3 shelves. They're all from the same family. I believe it's called the Kallax. Probably butchering it, it's Swedish, I'm sorry. But I went through, I got this little 4 square one. I got one that's a little bit taller, and then I got one that's pretty much almost like a bookshelf. It's like as tall as the long one, but it's just 2 of them stacked next to each other. In regard to the shelves, I did a couple different modifications and I'll kind of talk a little bit about them and how I did it and things of that nature. I pretty much followed the directions like normal, except when I wanted to not add a shelf or to have it a little bit bigger, I just would skip it. With some of these, it was pretty easy. With others, it was not. Anything that used the wooden dowels to connect in, I had to hammer them in, kind of draw a line around them, pull them back out, and then trim them out. That way they could sit in, they were also stable, but the wooden piece wasn't sticking out on the other end. I think I did a good job. I only had to do it, I think maybe 4 times overall, 6. But after kind of doing it the first 2 times, it became something kind of repetitive and really easy to go through and do. I was worried about stability, but since these are like bookcases, they're all very stable still. I know for a fact because my cats have been having a heyday. They've been jumping on them, running around on them. I've been worried about one of them falling, but nothing's fallen yet, and there's nothing on them, so it's making me feel a lot better. And they still will have their little spots underneath, so I'm feeling really good about that. To kind of give you a breakdown of what happened this morning, I woke up, I started taking all the plants off, cleaning up the general area, things of that nature. I have this beautiful Hoya australis. I always feel like I butchered the name. It has been growing forever there. I have not moved it in such a long time, and it has taken over the window, so I had to spend about 15 minutes untangling it. I think I broke a little piece off, but overall, the whole thing is pretty much intact, which makes me feel so much better. But I messed around with that. After I got the shelving off and I moved everything off, I gave that whole area a good cleaning because it has been a hot minute since it's been cleaned. So after giving it a good sweeping, a good little Swiffer, I also cleaned the baseboards a little bit. Now it is time to kind of set up the shelvings. I already have a general idea of what I want to do. I drew it out yesterday and I changed things and I adjusted them. But overall, I think I have a pretty good idea of what I want. So we're gonna get started with that and kind of get it going. And I will kind of talk about what I plan on doing even after this, because there are a few things I want to do. But let's get into it. Alrighty, so here is one of the shelves here. I will put links to everything that I bought to do this in the description if you want to do something similar and have fun with it. You don't have to do exactly what I did. There's a lot of different options, so get creative with it if you do decide to try it. Originally, this was the bigger shelf. It's supposed to be 2 squares, 2 squares, 2 squares, 2 squares. I instead decided to open up the top one, keep the 2 squares, open up the next layer, and then keep the very 2 on the bottom as well. So like I said, these used wooden dowels, so in theory there should be a wooden dowel sticking out and then you would have the next piece there. I instead hammered it in, make sure it was all set up, and then I slowly just trimmed it away without trying to scratch the bottom spot. You can still see a little bit of it, which is annoying, but like I said, I'm gonna put stuff in there, and I think I could probably also just kind of push it down a little bit more and make it look a little bit more seamless. Either way, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. This is what I'm thinking I'm going to put against one of the main windows. It's the one that's right next to the door. I'm hoping with that, I'll be able to raise the window or the blinds all the way up almost, and to have them just more exposed. But because I'll have so many items and plants and different things in there, it'll still give me a little bit of privacy, which is kind of what I'm aiming for. I want as much light as possible without people being able to see too much in, and it's kind of hard when you have big floor to ceiling windows on like a first floor type of situation. This is one of the shelves. I have the other two over here. I'm gonna be honest, this place is a mess, so it's kind of hard to show all of them off. I think what I'll do is I am going to move this over into the spot, and then I am going to start to move the other two into their places and kind of talk about where my head's at and why I decided to do what I did. So let's do that. All right, let's see if I can do this without breaking everything. So I think my goal too is that it's not gonna fit the window perfectly, but I think I wanna line it up as best as I can to the edge here. Okay, so we have the shelf in place where I want it. One thing that I really do want to do is I do plan on giving these a little bit more height. I would like for the bottom part, I don't know if you can even see, but I want the very bottom to be flush to the kind of like wood base. The other one, the other little table had a little bit of a lift to it, which is why I loved it so much. So I'm trying to figure out a way to do that. I haven't decided what I'm gonna do. I might just go lazy and get like cement bricks and give it a little bit of height, but it'll also allow me to hide some of the cables and things like that as well too underneath. But I want it right here. I think it should look pretty good overall. And I like it because it's not too tall. It's tall enough where I could still put a couple things on the top to give a little bit of extra privacy, which I think is definitely the goal. But with this one being placed, let's start placing the other two. So I am going to put this long shelf next. The goal for this one, like I said, it's literally the same thing as this tall one, just one of them. What I wanted to do is I want to have these right next to each other, just like that. I wanted to have a space underneath. He's having a heyday right now. Underneath for the cat beds, and then just to have a little bit more room to do some more fun stuff overall as well too. I'm liking the length so far. It's one of those things where I didn't want it to take up 3 windows. I only really wanted it to take up 2, but I'm very content with how this is looking overall. I have nice little pockets down underneath to put some cute stuff in, stuff where the cats can mess around but hopefully not cause any harm or damage. What, buddy? You having fun? He's used to the window being open, so I think it's freaking him out, but he's about to go for it. There you go. So hopefully you can see it a little bit better. You can see it's a little bit lower than what I like. It's not awful, but between all the pieces, I have a feeling if I were to raise them up and just line them up to the window seal, I think it'd be absolutely perfect. Not only could I store stuff underneath to give me a little bit more room, I think I would also be able to hide and do a little bit better with some of the cabling and things of that nature, which is really cool. Overall, I'm really happy with how this is looking. I'm gonna have the cat beds go underneath here so they still have their space, and that's also another reason why I wanna lift it up a little bit higher. I want them to be able to still have the view that they had before. It's not totally gone, but it's definitely a little bit lower, and I also think that's gonna make them want to jump up here, which is kind of not the goal if possible. Other than that, this is kind of where we're at so far. I am gonna go grab the next piece, put it where I want to, and then we will kind of look at the overall picture and kind of see where my brain's at. This one's the smallest and easiest to move over. It's this little 4 square one. I did take out one of them to give me one tall one, and I absolutely freaking love how it looks. So I am just gonna place it right on top of here. And then let's line it up to the best of our ability. And there we go. So this is kind of the setup that I had in mind. I'm so excited, to be honest with you. In my head, I thought it looked good. I was so scared of how it was gonna come out, but I think this worked out honestly better than I was expecting. I'm actually gonna flip these ones real quick around, so just do like a 180. I wanna keep the taller one on the end because I really like how it looks, but I also have this surround sound that's wireless, and it is like this little wire that has to connect in, and I don't have a lot of cable room for that. So I think moving it up here is gonna be the easiest setup. So that's gonna be the plan here, but overall, I am just like super giddy. I think this looks super good. It fits what I was going for. I think it's nailing everything that I cared about, which is making me feel really good about the decision. Obviously, since I modified these shelves, I cannot return them. I don't think I can. So this was kind of a risk, but I'm very, very much happy with how it looks. I am gonna say this is part one because part two is going to be probably a little bit more fine tuning it and really deciding on what I want to put there. I'm mostly just putting the plants that I have already back onto the shelf and kind of finding spots there, but I have a lot of plants in this space and I definitely want to move some of them over here. I also have a lot of pots that I've been wanting to plant the plants in and I haven't done yet. So that is another thing that I really, really want to do. I think that might be the part two of it. But either way, let's look at the bigger picture. Here is the bookshelf from behind the couch. Like I said, I am very, very much in love with it. I think it looks super good. Couple things I want to do. I still want to raise it up a little bit higher. Like I said, I think it's about 6 inches. I think I might just use brick in the future, like little cement bricks. I don't know, we'll see how that goes, but I think that will help out with some of the cable management. I also do plan, I don't know if it's Velcro or what I'm gonna use, but I do want to attach these together just a little bit more, just in case the cats have a heyday or they want to have a heyday. I'd rather be safe than sorry, more than anything. So I'm gonna strap those down in the future as well. But for now, let's start adding some stuff in here. All right, first and foremost, I want to get the cat beds back in here so they have somewhere to sleep and hang out. They don't use them all the time, but I still want them to be there for them in general. I think it might be time for some new cat beds soon, so that also is on the list of things to do, but want to get these here first and foremost, and then we'll start kind of planning out more of the other stuff. I started going through and kind of just putting stuff here, and I was kind of talking about it, but since this isn't going to be like this setup, this is mostly just me putting things back in kind of a spot for the time being, and then kind of talk about what my plans are in the future. So I'm just gonna let it run and we'll see how things line up. Here is like the final setup. So like I said, it's not like exactly what it's gonna be. I just threw stuff on here for the time being. I'm trying to get more ideas, see what's going on. Just seeing how the light's coming in right now is making me super excited. Like I said, I haven't really opened up the windows yet or did anything super crazy. I did move things away and bring other things in because it just fit better. Like for example, this philodendron up here. I think it's a moonlight. I always forget exactly, but this one just fit a lot better than the red Congo philodendron that I had. I brought out this flower and vase setup. It was in our bedroom, but I think it's tall enough that the cats won't mess with it now that there's stuff up here. I put my small philodendron tortum cutting, my elefante, and this dischidia right up here. This alocasia black velvet I'm selling, so I kind of just put it there for the time being, and then I have these cuttings down here. Hoya Australia, that's gonna be a whole project. I'm gonna have to figure something out. I think it'd be cool to potentially do like a little trellis thing on the side here out of like wood. So I might do something fun with that. And then I have my philodendron silver sword over here. I plan on cutting that up and propagating it, so I don't really care too much about it there. I'm gonna keep the string of hearts floating. I think I'm gonna just constantly trim it and just add them up here. And I think I just want it nice and full versus long. So I think I'm gonna do something on the lines of that. And then I have this beautiful jasmine plant. I always forget the name. It's like Jasminum poly something, I think, but they're in the middle of blooming, so you can smell the jasmine, it smells so good. I have my Tycon behind here. I have my Nepenthes Miranda. I finally cut off all the pictures for this one. I need to give it a good trim and just redo it because it's kind of all over the place, but I got that one. My Peperomia Radiance Angulatus here. I have my little Hoya Compacta Variegata, and then I have my Philodendron Painted Lady. So that's what I have overall right here for the time being. Like I said, this is not the finished look. This is nowhere near done. This is just kind of like my startup of what I'm kind of aiming for. But yeah, I'm really excited. The shelves look wonderful. I think I kind of nailed and I got the vision down. It's now just gonna be probably a while of me just messing with things and slowly adjusting to get what I want out of this shelving and the space and things of that nature. I'm very excited. I'm gonna open up the windows in a little bit. Maybe I'll get a good shot of that if I don't expose myself too much. But yeah, alrighty, that is going to be it today. Thank you so much for checking out another video of mine. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it inspired you. I'm in love with what's going on right now. This is definitely not the end. There's a lot to do in general, but I'm very much happy with how it's turning out. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, share it with another friend that you think might enjoy it as well too. And other than that, I will catch y'all very soon. Have a wonderful rest of your day or night, wherever you may be. Other than that, later.